Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be checking out the Thundercats Ultimates Jackalman figure from the folks over at Super 7. That's right, continuing my look at the first wave of the new Thundercats Ultimates action figures. Jackalman, of course, is another one that was released by Mattel several years ago, so we're getting a brand new version from Super 7 in the new Ultimates toy line. As you can see, the box is very similar to what we saw with Lion-O. However, we've got the evil Mumm-Ra logo with the snakes on the front as opposed to the Thundercats emblem. It is still the same shiny red, so my lights aren't really doing it justice, but it is pretty cool. There's my face back there while I'm talking. So you can just remove that slip cover, and that reveals our window box packaging inside, fully showcasing Jackalman with his accessories, including some new accessories that were not included with the Mattel release. And the back of the box has that same classic Thundercats image with a bio for Jackalman down at the bottom. So let's go and get this box opened up, and we will get a closer look at the figure within. Alright, we've got our Jackalman outside of the packaging. Once again, we can see that the figure stands right at the 7-inch scale, just like we saw with Lion-O. And I'm going to start this review the same way as that one, with a little bit of comparison time with the release from Mattel, because I know a lot of people want to see these side by side since this figure was already previously released through a different company just to see how they differ from one another. So again, the sculpts appear to be exactly the same from what I can tell. The biggest difference is in the paint deco. Now, what's interesting is with Lion-O, it seemed like the Super 7 one had more muted colors and when compared to the Mattel one, but it's opposite with Jackalman because his colors all seem a bit more vibrant than what we saw on the Mattel release. But there's also an immediate glaring issue. Like, as soon as I put these guys side by side, it really stood out. Unfortunately, the front of the neck on the new Super 7 release was left unpainted. Looking at the Mattel one, you can see that it's supposed to have the lighter colored fur on the front that matches the lighter colored fur on his chest, but that was left off of the Super 7 version, which is a bit of a bummer for sure. And to make matters worse, let's scroll down this, because if you remember my review of the original Jackalman years ago, I pointed out how Mattel assembled him incorrectly because his shins are reversed. You can tell because of the way the bones are pointing, they're slightly bowed outwards, the muscles don't make sense on the back, and you know what? Super 7 made the exact same mistake. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it's because of the way the molds are labeled for the factories, but the shins are reversed again. We had an opportunity to fix this mistake that Mattel had made, and unfortunately, we got the exact same problem again. So, we've got backwards shins on the figure, and we've got an unpainted neck, and I can definitely see that being a bit of an issue for collectors that have been waiting for these figures. So, wanted to do these comparisons right out the gate. I wanted to show you those issues. So let's go ahead and move forward with our look at this figure. Now, if you don't remember the way this is done, I do love this. I've always thought the Horsemen were really good at kind of using a standardized body and finding ways to give them the unique features. So if you pop the head off the ball joint like I just did here, you'll notice that the armor and the fur that's on his shoulder and his neck is all a solid sculpt, and it's just kind of sitting over that base body there to kind of capture that extra fur that we see at the top of Jackalman's body. And it actually works really well because when you've got the head on, it's not that noticeable that it's not part of the main sculpt, and it actually does look pretty good. And I will say the paint deco does look nice and clean on this guy for the most part. I've got a little bit of a gray smudge on the little red orb on his armor there, but it's not that bad. And I will say the joints feel pretty solid on this guy. So let's talk about that articulation. You guys saw that we did have the ball-like joint at the neck. It's not even hindered that bad by the extra piece over his neck. You can still look side to side. You can slightly roll it around. We've got the ball-like hinges at the shoulders, which slightly hindered by these pieces over the shoulders there, but not too bad. You can still move forwards and backwards. You can swivel at the bicep. You got a standard single joint at the elbow. You got swivels and hinges at the wrist. You do have the ab crunch, which is tighter on this guy than it was on Lion-O, thankfully. We've got swivel at the waist, which is very tight on this figure. Ball-like hinges at the thighs, so legs can go outwards, forwards, backwards, swivel at the thigh cut. single joints at the knees, which are nice and tight. You got swivels at the boot cut, and then you've got the ankles that move forwards and backwards, as well as rock side to side. So the articulation on this guy is really nice. It's very much on par with what we would expect from these figures, but the good thing is that it's all tight on this figure. I don't have any loose joints here, so I don't have any issues posing him around. Hopefully it's that way for everybody's Jackalman. Now he comes with several accessories, which has kind of become the staple for the Ultimates line. So first of all, we've got the interchangeable hands. You'll notice out of the package, he's got these kind of like loose open hands. The other hands are gripping hands, going to be for some of his accessories. You can easily pop those in and out just by pulling on the hand, removing it at the wrist. The little peg pops right in place, and it's a nice solid joint there, so it's pretty easy to switch those on and off. We do also have an interchangeable head, which I really, really like. So again, pop the head off at the ball joint like I just showed you. You can take the new head, just give it a nice firm press to lock it onto the ball joint. It might be a bit hard the first time, but once you get it on there, you've got this really great alternate head where it's sort of like he's roaring or lunging in for attack. His mouth is wide open there. Just very, very cool. I really like these kind of like action heads that we're getting with these new figures. I think that's very cool. So as far as his weapons go, some of these are similar to what we saw with Mattel. First of all, we've got this club accessory, which can get into the tighter gripping hand. It's kind of like the classic Jackalman club there. It's got a nice wood-like look to it. Good paint deco. There's some nice wash on there. It's also got that one spike on there, which is really cool. The only thing I will say is that it's one of those kind of gummy weapons. It's not like too bad. I've definitely seen worse, but at the skinnier part, it's very, very flexible. So it's got this big heavy top piece, which makes me think that over time it's going to droop like this while it's posed in the figure's hand on your shelf. Never a fan of that. I wish this was a sturdier plastic for sure. Then we've got the axe accessory. Again, it's got a great wood-like look to it there. This is going to hold best in that tighter gripping hand. Nice paint deco on the top because we've got like the shiny silver as well as just the kind of unpainted gray type plastic up there. But it's great. It's like two-tone. It looks really, really good. So that's a really fun accessory as well. And then we've got like this whole arsenal of different blasters, which is really, really cool. So we've got two different types of single hand blasters there. Again, they're great kind of like these two-tone colors with like a metallic like gunmetal as well as like a flat black. I will tell you that these both work best in those more open hands. Well, at least the one with the kind of grip on the front of it does, because he can actually put his finger over the trigger, whereas the gripping hand won't really hold on to that one as well. However, the other gun, you're probably going to want to put in that tighter gripping hand. But hey, look at that. Now we've got like a dual-wielding Jackalman. That is really cool. And then we've also got the larger rifle-type blaster as well. Again, this one will work best with that more open hand so that you can at least get it kind of like through the trigger part. It's not going to get a very tight grip on there, but it's the only way you can really get him holding it where it looks like he's going to blast it. This definitely does work best for two-handed poses as well. But man, that's a lot of options there for different weapons. So that's actually pretty cool. All right, guys, it's comparison time again, because just for fun, I do want to stand him alongside the vintage Jackalman action figure from LJN, just so you can see the difference between the modern Ultimates version and that original toy that many of us grew up with. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the brand new Thundercats Ultimates Jackalman action figure from the folks at Super 7. So again, he's another figure that we got from Mattel, but he still is a solid action figure and he's got a lot of really great accessories. The biggest downsides here are the goof with the unpainted neck and the backward shins. If it weren't for those two things, I think this guy would have turned out perfect. But those are some pretty glaring mess-ups on this particular figure that I think some fans is probably going to make or break it for them, to be perfectly honest. So Super 7 put these figures up for sale as a pre-order only. That's the way they sell all their figures. But the good news is that Wave 1 is still in stock and can be ordered at places like Big Bad Toy Store for a retail price. So if you're still interested, I'll put the link in the video description. Special thanks to Super 7 for sending this figure over so we can get a good look at it outside of the package. These should be shipping very, very soon to everybody who has already ordered them. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, my friends.